let's jump right into VibePro. And VibePro, as you can see, still has its single measurement area here, which is the exact same layout with a few added features that it exists in VibePro in the App Store now that many of our customers have enjoyed. The new portion, of course, is the viewer trends and reports here, and the route measurements and the editing of those routes here, which I'll get into. But quickly, we'll go into single measurements so you can see the natural layout of our control panel. Looks like a lot of analyzers. We'll turn it on, and normally, you know, you've got your hertz, CPM, you can actually do an audio out with earphones to listen to your accelerometer. All your RPM, bearing frequency adjustments are all part of our original layout. But quickly, I want to show here a new button, the Report Manager. What that's going to allow you to do is actually pull up a previous report that you may have taken of different spectrums and or a different asset measurement that you may have done. And I'm going to show you now how that is done. So jumping into the spectrum, I'm going to turn on a 1G shaker here, which we're in inches per second now, but we'll convert over to acceleration in a moment. You'll see how that measures the 1G shaker. But normally we were able to only save one spectrum per report. And that would unfortunately make us have to do one report for velocity and one report for acceleration. Well, now we've enabled the app to, with this little camera button up here, enables you to click it once. We'll save your first image of the spectrum, and then you can simply click over to acceleration, and you can see if I jump our cursor up here and look down here, we're exactly at 1G. And our overall is 1.1 Gs for the whole spectrum. And now we can save that spectrum to the very same report, and it gives a number 2 up here. And we'll say OK that that's saved. And what we did is we actually added an additional spectrum that if you needed to take an axial or a different reading for some other reason, you can actually save 3. So when we click it a very third time, it's going to give us a warning saying that you can save no more images other than what we've currently saved. So we'll hit OK there. Now, when we simply go to this report button up here, our report pops up. We still have our traditional severity chart for pumps, fan, motors, spindles, all that is up at the top. You still get your overall, your top frequencies, your notes if you want to type in any special notes for the particular asset. And here we have our camera function, which I'm just going to pull, which actually lets you pull out of the library as well. And I'll just pull a picture of a spindle out of my photo library real quick here. And we'll pull a motor out, and we'll put that in our report. But of course, you can use the camera and take a picture of the asset that you were working on or measuring at that point. So that way, you can actually tell right here where your accelerometer was, so for the next time you do the measurement of that particular asset. So now we can look at this report from the View Hide button, and it lays out real quickly in front of us. We have our severity chart, our photo, our 3 spectrums lined up, and acceleration, velocity, and then we've got a full page on each spectrum rolling down. Now I can simply save that report right here, which will go to that report manager, or I can simply email the report, and it puts the PDF in the email format for me, and I can just simply start typing in an address and then send that very quickly, and that now has been sent. But quickly saving a report, I just have to enter in a test name or report name, hit OK, and now that has been saved into the report manager. So let's go quickly take a look at that. One other attribute I want to show before you save it also, you can draw on any particular one of these spectrums, you know, to point out maybe running speed, for instance, or 1 times running speed. So it's very easy to draw on these spectrums, save and close them, and then actually have that as part of your report. I don't want to miss that. But going back, let's take a look at our report manager button. We will tap on that, and there's the test 3 PDF we just saved, and there it is again. We have it in all the 3 large units are up there, and then we can email that from here as well. So that is the standard part of VibePro and the little additions that we put towards the main functionality of VibePro. Let's go back into our route measurement. This is all new from the ground up. And you can see I already have a hierarchy here, GTI, a bunch of spindles and air conditioners that I measured here at the plant. And I can pick any one of these, highlight them, and they will tell me what points of measurement here that I've conducted, depending on whether it's H1, whatever I want to name them. I can simply take those points here and add a point, say V1, and just hit the plus button and add that to the hierarchy. It's very easy to add things to the hierarchy. But if I want to even edit one of these points so that I have the proper frequency range, I've got the proper alarms set and everything else for my route, I can simply tap on Edit Settings, pick that point, and up comes the picture of that asset, so I can see where I put the accelerometer, whether I was measuring in velocity or acceleration, whether I was low, medium, or high on the frequency range, whether I used an RPM marker and what that is, and I can toggle that on or off at will. I can also put bearing models in, any bearing models right through the 200 series, 300 series. We've got a multitude, or you can type in your own bearing and your bearing defect frequency, or inner pathway sway defects, and all that can be typed in manually if that bearing isn't in our hierarchy or in our log. Also, your danger thresholds here, both alert and danger, are here, so that will be part of your trending. Or here you can simply pull up the ISO chart and go by what group 3, 4, or 1, and you can see how that changes the different specifications depending on what you click on. So you either do it custom or you can go by ISO. And then down here you can see we have a temperature threshold, which will also be part of the trending in the viewer. So as you can see through this whole unit, we are able to customize each point that we're measuring along the route and hit save and back, and that is memorized so that anytime we want to go to a grinder, take a measurement, we can simply click on that asset point and it'll pull it up if we want to view or edit it, or if we're in the collect vibration and I click on it, it is ready with a spectrum. I'll turn the shaker back on, and I'm able to hit this save and back, and actually that will save that data to that point. The quickest possible way to save data on a route is what we've designed here. It's very well done. So now let's go to the viewer. And now we can actually view at any time any of the parts along the route that we talked about earlier that we set up. So let's go back to the speed tester. We'll look at the H1 at velocity. And you can see I've taken a series of measurements on certain dates. And you can see they're all color-coded. If they went over my alert threshold, they're yellow. If they've gone over my alarm threshold, they're going to be in red. So I can either quickly hit the overall trend and tap that and look at its overall trend, and you can see very clearly here that these are all my measurement points I've taken along the way. Oops, didn't mean to pop out of that, because if you do tap on that particular measurement from the trend device, you can actually look at that spectrum at that particular time, and it flashes you back to the spectrum of when I took it during that trend. And now I'm able to clear the cursors that are up there, maybe move some other cursors around. I can pinch the spectrum in and out at will, look at different frequencies, check for bearing frequencies, all just like I was taking the reading live, but I'm actually altering or post-processing this information. So let's go back, and we're back to our trend. And you can see here on the dial, it's very nice too. It lets me know that I have one reading in the green right here at the bottom. I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were above this yellow alert level, and they're all under the red. If any one of these have gone over the red, I would have that pie chart would also show me how many machines or recordings were over my alarm threshold. So let's quickly toggle back and click from the overall trend back to the spectrum. And any one of these points I can pull up just as if I were there at the time of reading. So here I can go back and say, well, what was my running speed? Let's look. We can put our cursor on it. And we see that it was running at 10,277.23 CPM. And I can actually look at the amplitudes at that level, do all kinds of manipulation, and even save that graph again with my camera and put another report together if I'd like. So there's all kinds of different things we can do. So now going back, let's get into the database. We can actually send that whole database of our whole plant readings up to Dropbox so that we can put it into an Excel spreadsheet and see the whole plant's data, or we can simply export and import back and forth to Dropbox to save that, because this viewer that I'm showing you now will also have a web viewer that you'll be able to view and post-analyze any of these data points actually from our viewer on the Mac. And I'll show you some of those screenshots as well a little further on in the tutorial. So that goes over some of the main add-ons, which the big one is probably the quickest route measurements being able to be taken in the field of any analyzer on the market. And secondly, our post-analysis process, which just makes it extremely simple for the viewer to see any time that they've done any readings, whether they're in yellow, red, depending on their amplitude, and you set all of those alarm levels. So, you know, it's completely intuitive.